Hey, future curl experts. My name is Zamarla. I am the curl expert. I am also a natural hairstylist who strives to bring Black hair education to the forefront. What I do is I help men and women on their natural hair journey by caring for their hair at the salon, sharing textured hair education, and designing revolutionary hair care regimens. My goal is to equip you with the knowledge, the understanding, and the confidence to better care for your royal roots. Here is what you could learn from me today. On the topic of hair typing, we'll be diving into hair porosity. When we're talking about hair porosity, we're looking at the hair's ability or inability to absorb water, moisture, and chemicals into the cortex. The degree of porosity is related to the condition of your hair's cuticle. Hair porosity ranges from low porosity to medium porosity to high porosity. In low porosity hair, the cuticle scales lay completely flat. They overlap one another and they're tightly bound. Naturally, this means that low porosity does not readily absorb moisture and chemicals. Luckily though, once low porosity is able to receive moisture, it does a good job of trapping and sealing that moisture in. Medium hair porosity has cuticle scales that are slightly raised. This is the ideal place to sit on the hair porosity scale because medium porosity does a good job of receiving and holding moisture. It is flexible in terms of the products you use and it's able to hold styles well. When we're looking at high porosity hair has cuticle scales that are wide open. There are often gaps and large openings along the cuticle. With that in mind, that means high porosity hair absorbs a lot of moisture, but it's not able to hold that moisture. As quickly as it absorbs it, it will release it. Low porosity hair is prone to buildup. It is also very dry and hard to hydrate. With that in mind, here's what we can do. When you are caring for low porosity hair, you want to use product of lighter consistency. Products that rid hair milk, leave-in conditioner, leave-in spray, hair lotion. These are products that tend to be rich in humectants. Humectants are those ingredients in your natural hair products that draw and attract moisture to the hair. They look like aloe vera, water, glycerin, or honey. Hair lotions, hair milks, leave-in conditioners, products that are light in consistency, they will absorb much faster, quickly, and easily into low porosity strands. And that's what low porosity hair needs. Tip number 2 for low porosity hair. You want to avoid using heavy products as they may weigh down low porosity strands. It might leave your hair looking greasy, feeling limp, lifeless, and stiff. So steer clear of heavy products. Additionally, if you are using heavy products or just knowing that low porosity is prone to product buildup, my next tip would be to use a clarifying shampoo at least once a month in your hair regimen. A clarifying shampoo will work well to remove product buildup, mineral deposits, or anything that may sit on top of low porosity strands and make it drier or thirstier than it already is. Final tip for low porosity hair is to deep condition using heat. What I mean by that is you want to apply your deep conditioner and use the assistance of a shower cap, a plastic bag, a hooded dryer, or a deep conditioning cap. This will allow for the cuticle layers of low porosity hair to raise slightly and allow for your nourishing ingredients from your treatment to enter your hair cuticles. When we're talking about medium porosity, like I said, you sit in the perfect spot where your hair absorbs and retains moisture well. But that doesn't mean that you don't have any work to do. Medium porosity hair should still keep up with regular treatments. Regular treatments will act as a preventative measure against hair damage. Because high porosity hair can be a result from hair damage done by chemical and heat abuse as well as stress and tension, that means that your hair may have lost some protein structure. The structure that helps keep it strong and add strength to the hair is being lost. So that means that protein treatments are beneficial in a high porosity regimen. You want to be careful when using protein because there are different strengths in protein treatments. There are intensive, mild, and moderate protein treatments. In a high porosity regimen, what I like to tell my clients is to use protein purposefully. Is there a reason you're using protein? That's what you want to ask yourself. I'm going to explain to you what protein does for an individual with damaged hair. What that protein does is that it deposits a filler or a bond that will help to fill in those broken cuticle gaps. And it will give your hair structure and strength, improve its elasticity, give it that strength and that shield that helps to defend against environmental factors as well as hair damage that may occur. So when you're using protein treatments in a high porosity hair regimen, protein treatment shouldn't be seen as a solution, but more of a helping friend in your regimen that helps to fight and prevent more hair damage than there already is. Another tip for high porosity hair is to use products rich in emollients. Emollients look like the hair butters and oils you'll find in your ingredient list, like mango butter, shea butter, cocoa butter, jojoba oil, almond oil, castor oil. These are emollients. They work to seal and trap moisture in the hair. So what I like to tell my high porosity clients is you want to use these rich emollients last when you're moisturizing, because it will do that great job of trapping moisture in your hair, and you need that moisture to be retained. My final tip for high porosity hair is to make sure you are taking care of your hair in terms of treating it like gold. High porosity hair is prone to breakage because it's already lost some strength and that protein structure of the hair. So you want to make sure you're handling it with care, minimizing rough handling and tension on the hair, reducing heat as well as chemical services, ensuring a professional is taking care of that for you. I hope you found my tips to be helpful when talking about hair porosity. If you would like to now find out and better determine what your porosity is, I have attached some helpful homework for you. This homework will allow you to find out your hair porosity, and I'm giving you 3 different tests that you could do yourself to better help you to determine what porosity you are. Let's look at the 3 tests to help you determine your hair porosity. Test number 1 is the float test. The float test will require you to take a clean strand of hair. So we're doing this on wash day. After you've shampooed and rinsed out that shampoo, your hair is clean. So you're gonna grab a strand of hair from the shower, from your comb, I don't care, but you're going to need a clean strand of hair. You're going to place that strand of hair in a cup of water, and you'll let it sit for 5 minutes. Then check on that strand. Where does it sit in that water, in that cup of water? If it sits at the top, means that it's floating or it's at the surface of the cup of water, that would mean you have low porosity hair. If your hair strand has sunken to the middle area of that cup of water, that would mean you have medium or normal porosity hair. It's doing a good job of receiving and holding that moisture. If your hair strand has sunken completely to the bottom of the cup, that would mean that you have high porosity hair. It absorbed a lot of moisture. The strand test. The strand test would require you to grab a strand of hair, and you're going to glide your hand upwards, and you're going to feel. So if it slips and slides smoothly, that means you may have low porosity or normal porosity. Whereas if you feel little bumps and ridges along the way, that would mean you have high porosity hair. My last test to help you better determine your hair porosity is the wet hair test on freshly cleansed hair. Take chunks of your hair, squeeze it and feel it in your hands. How does your hair feel? Low porosity hair would feel almost dry. Your hair has not retained much moisture, and you have low porosity hair. If your hair feels a bit wet but not sticky, you have medium porosity hair, where it was able to receive some moisture and hold it well. If your hair feels sticky, as if it would take a long time for the water to leave your hair, that would mean you have high porosity hair. High porosity hair absorbs a lot of moisture. Now that we have addressed low, medium, and high porosity hair, let's tackle one of the myths I have encountered online. Protein/moisture. What does your hair porosity need? Doesn't matter what your hair type is, I'm here to let you know that your hair needs both moisture and protein to be healthy. Our hair is made up of water and protein. Everything we could see is keratinized cells. dead protein cells. So that protein is there for the strength, and water is what gives our hair elasticity, hydration, and softness. So our hair needs both. They go hand in hand. Your hair cannot do without moisture, and your hair cannot do without protein. You can abuse protein and encourage hair breakage, and you could also lack moisture and encourage hair breakage. This is why it's important to find a balance when using protein and moisture in your hair regimen. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video.